Good morning. All right. Oh, a little buy setup on the futures there, followed through. And you can see on the daily chart, it's coming up to the top of its range. Talking about the weekly here. There's buy setup here with the two bottoming tail bars. So it was kind of whippy down there, but that range expansion bottoming tail bar at the pivot was pretty powerful and got that launch up. And so now there's a little bit more room before it could, would actually hit the top of that high pivot there. Also considering, bottom of the range, top of the range. Well, we could have a spurt up there early in the day. Just looking to the left, it's where things are likely to stall and we start seeing some chopping around. Sometimes they just marginally exceed the pivot. That's the concept. We call it greater than 100% retracement, where just a lot of times after it takes it out, it's exactly where the momentum stalls. Maybe just exhausts itself. I can't imagine stops being up there after this level of retracement, but you never know. So it'll be something to watch out for. If it clears this and comes into the next area here, it's probably going to stall there. 335 for the Qs. I was asking 335. Well, that's where that area is right there. So, if we just look at the top of that pivot, and and the close right there. It's kind of hard to see the numbers, but let's see if I can perk that up a little bit. I see. Fill border. So if we do this, right? So just looking at the close of that bar and the high of the pivot, give or take, I suppose so 337 taking out the high there a little bit would make sense. Yeah. And so as we look to the left there, right, this was marked from the other day. And if we do this and put it there, puts it right there. That's that pivot right there. You can see the congestion. It already filled the gap. So, yep, that's into the left where sellers should show up. There you go. There you go. As this says, no trend lines, fib lines, VWAPs, or other fine tools. Just look to the left. Works every time. And, just to mention, I know all of you guys in the green room know when I mentioned it to those in the on YouTube, I posted the link there, but we're going to be doing MT Live tomorrow with Spot Gamma, and it's very useful information. And all the years once I transitioned, from the indicator-based methodology many years ago, and just came to realize that it really wasn't useful at all and misleading. I haven't found anything in all these years to say, hey, this is something that I could add to my tools of trading that could add a little bit more to what I'm doing. Do I actually need it? No, it's not something that I couldn't do without, but it's a little extra, which we'll explain. We'll explain in the webinar tomorrow with Brent being there, because this is his thing. So it's just a little extra piece of information that I have found to be quite useful, and we'll continue to use it, in the future. So anyway, Robert's asking, Greg, what order type do you use when you're placing a stop as a conditional order for spiders and credit spreads in the market? Well, Norbert, believe it or not, if I'm doing a credit spread on SPX, I don't have a stop in because I'm watching it like a hawk. I don't move from the chair. So I'm there ready to press the button, but you can do that by, like you asked, a conditional order. So in your brokerage platform, you say if XYZ, SPX or SPY trades at this number, close this credit spread. Right? So that's it. Each platform is a little different, and maybe how they set it up, but or how you utilize it on their software, but that's all you do. All right. So area to the left there. Markets are up here a little bit. We'll see if they continue to go up. So S&Ps coming up into a resistance area there. Look at the hourly charts. And so here's where, you see this congestion going on here. And you see how it's just going sideways near this resistance area. This is what we call bullish price action. And it happens after an initial move up. And what it's telling us, it's the concept that we call absorbing supply. As we look to the left and know that there are sellers in an area because that's where their markets or stock fell from before, this kind of price action, and then we apply bar by bar analysis where it says, hey, you know what? This is, you hear people say, hey, things are acting well. I used to hear that many years ago. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? It's acting well. Was it sick? How do I quantify that? And so this is how you quantify acting well, something that shows relative strength or something that doesn't pull back in the face of price resistance. So it popped up, and now we see the momentum stalling in this area of resistance here, but it doesn't break the trend. I would have to see it violate here, and because it's relatively tight price action here, if it breaks down from here, well, you go to the next level and then so on and so forth. But yesterday was a wider range bar, which creates this void. So the ideal scenario is that it either just continues up or, a consolidation day that then will go up. YM up at resistance here. Right at that pivot high. Little breakout failure. So a little uncertainty coming in, a little rejection of that level there. Hasn't broken down, but it makes sense to see that kind of price action in the area of a prior high. And what we would do now from an intraday point of view is just drag this up here under the prior day's low as our area of significant support. Now, those of you that have been in the room or on YouTube, what we want to see is the range begins to expand, is that any corrective price action stays in that upper half of that bar, which you can see lines up here. So any kind of, retracements and pullbacks, because of this move up and it's at resistance, the kind of price action we'd like to see is where it doesn't penetrate deeply into that prior day's range on a closing basis. And the Russell coming back up into the congestion. So we've got many markets coming up to their respective.
Attention, an alert target has been reached.
Thank you for that. Coming up into their respective resistance areas. This has got a little bit more room as before it actually hits the top of that pivot high there. But it's inside yesterday's range so far. So let's go back here for a second. See, that's above yesterday's range. Slightly above yesterday's range, not moving very much. Slightly above yesterday's range. Inside
Attention,
yesterday's range.
An alert target
All right.
has been reached.
Thank you. Well, all right. So showing a little relative weakness there. Bonds coming up a little bit, yields coming down. Overall not going anywhere. That's a 30-year. This is the 10-year. implying that it's nothing more than it's showing relative weakness for the moment, McGraw. Sometimes what's showing relative weakness could bring up the rear. So I'm just pointing out one piece of information as we look at the Russell or IWM, and we know it's at resistance there. The upside theoretically is limited all around. However, so the pivot high is right here, and it's just going sideways. If it can clear here, I mean, the idea of bringing up the rear is something like this, right? Which is kind of like, we looked at this yesterday, and we see this very nice bullish reversal in square that's occurring here. Now, don't I wish, now this pattern, maybe this could bring up the rear, absolutely, but the fly in the ointment was kind of, well, the Qs are already up at resistance. So unless these Qs are going to blast off, up through there, which it certainly could do, but what we see all these markets at price resistance, and we'd like, Square has got this nice pattern, this bottoming pattern here. I don't think this is going to fail, right? But it probably isn't going to have the kind of price action where, it could have really popped nicely when the market did. So kind of the idea of everything firing on all cylinders at the same time versus Qs coming up to resistance, and this is just starting to make the turn. And so we shall see. You can see the bottoming pattern here. So it's great for a put spread. As far as the directional, maybe a little more chop here. You can see it's kind of ran up to 214 and came back in again. We'll see what it does. Anyway, I like it. It's a nice pattern for a bottoming type of a pattern, and it's in the area of these prior pivot lows. All right. Looked at bonds. Oil shot right back up there. Breakdown, ripping right back up. Buy the dippers everywhere. Gold is consolidating up near resistance. Silver kind of doing the same there. And, was hoping this would get going, but it hasn't. And the transports we spoke about yesterday that showed relative weakness last week on Friday, it didn't participate with the move up in the market. Maybe this is going to bring up the rear. Since I had a good day, if it can clear these highs, maybe it can come up, toward the top of the range. But if it takes out yesterday's low, that's going to open up the door. So most of what we're looking at here suggests a slowing in momentum today. Yesterday, initially, things looked like they could be a little choppy. But they came, let's go to the Qs. They came out of the blocks, and they cleared this area here where there was something we'll talk about in MT Live. There was a big option, a lot of puts and activity in that level there, and so once it cleared that and looked to the left, there was just nothing there to stop it, and it just came out of the blocks and took off. Once it cleared that area. So, all right, a lot of interesting stuff, and we'll see what today brings. Thing is, with everything up at their respective areas, they get a little room to run up there. So, we'll see how that handles it. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, I think it was Emmanuel found us that on Square yesterday. The pop here. So yeah, we bought it. We're long stock. And Greg, what you said there, the only fly in the ointment is it didn't participate. I feel the exact same thing about Airbnb here. I posted this as a directional, has a 1, 2, 3 here and a put spread, but that was my only reluctance also, which is what you just said. You
As
know,
long as the market doesn't come in hard, and even if it goes sideways or grinds, they should be fine, and bring up the rear.
right. And the second kind of thing is I've seen, when these things get beat up, and we're waiting for our pattern, obviously, but many times the catching of the rear is on some good news that gets them back in action. So yeah, that one's similar. So that's on our radar. Look at Shack. Shack. Now, we've had MT lives on trading bottoming patterns. This was a potential one. It bounced 3 days, it stabilized, but it's in a downtrend. So I don't know if this was going to stabilize to go up or down. I have no idea. But today is the event bar. It's a big old gap up here. So I posted that. So now that's giving me the confidence that this is a confirmed short-term bottom. So that's a put spread watch. All our opens are fine. I don't have any alarms going off anywhere. I already looked at all opens. Hey, and you know what? Greg and I sent chart of the week this morning on relative weakness. And you know what, Greg? We got two shorts, BT, and then my big minder here of open positions. They're both red. So that's great. Playboy, BT are red, so that means they're not participating in the bullish gap up. Airlines I want to watch today. Yeah, Diego's asking me about them right now. Yeah, Diego. Yeah, Jets here. They've stabilized flat 20 and 50. Now they're gapping up. There's a number of bullish monthlies that I like that are buy setups. Look at UAL. We gave that as a put spread. Hawaiian Airlines. Look at that beautiful buy setup on the monthly. So we're giving this as a core trip. Well, we're going to start off as a covered call over yesterday's high. We're going to buy stock and sell the $27 calls. But yeah, I'll be scanning the whole sector here later on. AAL. Yeah, it's kind of a little bull flag there, gapping up. I don't like that one as a core trade, but another put spread idea, or maybe 30-minute high swing is fine. Coco, Cube, LSI. Cube looks great as a breakout. You had a little downside shakeout. I like it a lot. Over today's Tuesday, so over Friday's high. That looks great. I like it a lot. I'll put that in a window. Oh, it's sunny. Yeah, over yesterday's high, bullish uptrend. Sure. And it'll be a little topping tail ignored. Market was so bullish yesterday, all day long again. Hey, Greg, do you remember last Friday or this green bar, this power green bar that it was just crack all day long? And I said, I think it's going to the top of this red bar. And 334, we've already exceeded it. Oh, 334. So now, yeah, we're right here in this gap fill, but that was a very powerful reversal down there. Frank, you still have at home? Yeah, at home. It's another. That one was in the chart of the week as a poster child of weakness. That looks fantastic. Just to go into trail mode, Frank. You got multiple time frames in alignment, relative weakness, nasty downtrend. That was beautiful trade there. This one, we were in trail mode and it stopped us out on yesterday, Getting my days all mixed up on Friday. But look at the weekly and monthly. They have a lot of room to fall. So yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on that to re-enter as a short, but yeah, they both look great. Thomas, NEM, Neo. It's very strong. You can't deny that. I just personally don't like buying things so far from the 20 like that because they have a tendency to fail. But if you get a day trade, it's fine. Just buy yesterday's high and keep it tight. And Neo, good close yesterday. You know, bottoming pattern, red bar, a little breakdown failure. Bullish pre-market. I like the pre-market a lot. So 30-minute high. That looks like a start off with a day trade. Top of mic. Yeah, it's fine. Buy yesterday's high. You got a bullish retest here right at the 20. It's not a W pattern because we didn't get the momentum move, but it's a bullish reversal buy setup is what the proper term of that setup is. But yeah, looks good. Amazon, we were going to do a put spread on this into the close as one of these catch-up trades. We have a lot of open positions now, actually, in both letters. We have put spreads on Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, on Google. We didn't get filled on Netflix. You know, we got a bunch. And this one I was going to add. And then, you know, just kind of sold off a little bit into the close and we waited. But I think they're getting close to buying that MGM or whatever studios. And I guess people are liking it. Red Rock Inn here is a Vegas hotel. It's gapping up. Who knows why? You know, it's just a hotel casino. Futu gapping to 130. Bullish pre-market. McGraw, beautiful put spread watch for us. UAL, I already posted as a put spread. TLC's up huge, but no pattern. FTCI, this was on my list yesterday. As a little gap from a breakout, and now it's gapping up again. That's worth watching. Big price void. Target maybe 11. Jack we talked about. Jets sector we talked about. Thomas, I mentioned NEM already. Spoke about it for like 30 seconds. I said it's too far from the 20 for me, but you can buy day trade yesterday's high. Tiger 1865, little gap breakout here. So Tiger 30-minute high, I like. Yeah, McGraw, I posted that already, Hawaiian Airline, because I love the monthly buy setup. And, you know, downside shakeout. So yeah, we're going to start off with a covered call. Nog. It looks higher. You just got to give it a big stop because of the way it trades. I personally don't like candles that are this erratic, overlaps, gaps. They give me a headache. Unless you're trading, you know, a much bigger time frame, then you got to give it room. SQM, I see a couple prints up here at 43. This is a climactic buy setup. So it could be a gap reversal for a day trade, swing trade, put spread. REXR had a nice close yesterday, but now it's a bearish gap, deep, you know, 80% into that. That's not good. Yeah, Sebastian. Yeah. So that's why I purposely on that one, I purposely on UAL did not say it has to trade over something. See that? The reason is because I see it gapping over it, right? So there's nothing for me to wait for. I'm only going to get fill if it pulls in a little bit, unless they keep the juice high at the open. But yeah, good question. BGC got an upgrade. Greg, this is marijuana. Look at that. Those are nasty railroad tracks down. Every time this pot sector, you is like it just sucks you in. Like, look at that beautiful entry on 428. I'm not touching that. I'm afraid of that thing. Exactly, John. Exactly. No, this a Widowmaker. Coin got a double upgrade. You know what that tells me? And you call me cynical or you call it real, like I call it realistic. You got two big, I think Goldman upgraded it yesterday, JPM did today, and I think another big house. That just screams at me that they're in it and they're begging for this thing to stop going down. So how do you do that? You give multiple upgrades. You tell all your salespeople, pump this, go pump it.
They did that with Yahoo back in the days when it topped out in 2000. They kept upgrading it all the way down from 500 to $8. Yeah. So Dan, I mentioned to you before in the chat two things. Somebody in the Fed made comments as to these digital currencies disrupting basically all currencies and how payments are made. They're coming out, and now the other article about the government coming out with a digital dollar. So they're looking to create a battle with this coin, these bitcoins and cryptos. We'll see how it heats up.
Yeah, here's BITW, which is 10 cryptos, and then Birdie is the futures. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Yeah, you're right. I think they're concerned with what China's doing. They should be. And then, yeah, they should be concerned with all the other problems that are inherent in it. Beam, I think, had earnings. No pattern there. I'm just going to delete you. Ride is an electric vehicle, and they're having financial problems. It's pre-market again. Yep. So look, 820. I'd just stay away from this thing. Unless we get a climactic buy setup or something, and then it would just be a short-term bounce. And my history of research of news and this and that, don't ever mess with companies that they're getting caught cooking the books, or their accountant fires them, or the SEC's after them, or they're saying they're going to run out of money by the end of the year. Those are all not good comments. Hey, quick draw, McGraw. Here's our shoe that you got us into yesterday. My up alarm went off. So I'll just set a new alarm now. Let's call it 42.2. How's that sound? And now I'm going to set my down alarm at 40.